Howdy folks, Bad Mark here with Mech Tech again, and sorry I'm adjusting my camera here. I am working on getting a better setup, so hopefully production values will improve here in the coming weeks. I am working with a limited budget, so just be patient with me. Now today I wanted to address something that has been an issue in the past, but I do not believe it to be an issue anymore. And I want to go ahead and lay this to rest. There's just some fallacies that I think continue to be shared amongst the keyboard community that perhaps at one point or another were based in truth, or at least partially, but are no longer the situation. Now, one thing that I have found, and I continue to hear this question on the sub on Reddit, is what is switch interference? Now, I've had some people tell me that it's because the switches will not work with the LEDs. Now, that's a completely different thing. There are some keyboards, such as the DNA 65, for example, that have RGBs, LEDs, that actually go above the height of the PCB. So hence, if you're using a switch such as this that does not have an LED window at the bottom, there's going to be interference, and this may not go in all the way, or will actually be kind of in. So you may actually get sometimes an actuation, sometimes not. I've seen some people actually exchange the bottom housing, or actually just stick a hot screwdriver in there and make their own window. Obviously that's going to affect the sound profile, but that is different than what is called the cherry profile switch interference. Now this is what interference is when most people are talking about. They're talking about primarily, now apparently this is for all rows, but primarily row 3, which obviously for actually seen this as row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3. So, but we'll go ahead and try with 1, 2, 3, because I'm a programmer. Arrays start at 0, not at 1. So third row interference. So if this is considered R3, they're basically saying that if you insert a switch with the north-facing position or north-facing LEDs, and you put on a keycap in that direction, that a cherry cap is going to interfere. So we're going to go ahead and see here. This is in the north-facing position, and here is a piece of paper. Now this is where it's supposed to bind up. If I press down on it, it's supposed to hold a piece of paper. Well, guess what? I'm not even feeling any, it's nice and clear. Why? Because the slope here has been corrected. This is no longer an issue. Let's try it on the front. Oh. Well, we do have an issue there. All right. See, so maybe it is still an issue. But what switch do we have here? This is an NK yellow. All right. Now, let's go ahead. We've got several switches here. I want to take, I know I have an Akko in here somewhere, or at least I thought I did. Of course, I don't have an Akko in here. Out of all the switches I grabbed, I didn't grab an Akko. So let me grab an Akko here real quickly. And show you the difference. So we saw that there is interference with that key. But now we're going to go ahead and grab an Akko. We're going to have it north facing. Again, we're going to stick the key in. We're going to look at the paper. On the back, no issue. On the front, oh, we are catching interference there. So, because I have actually heard that Akkos did not have that issue with the interference. And, oh, I'm sorry, this is a JWIG. No wonder. Okay, so let me take that back. Let me... I thought I put one of these up here. No, oh, there it is. No, that's a Gateron. This is a Gateron orange one. This, way too many switches here. All right, there's an Aqua Jelly Black. So let's try the same thing. Yet again, straighten out our piece of paper. And this would be north facing as the LED windows at the top. And then we go ahead and put in our key. Alright. See now, they say the interference is on the stroke, but again, this is an Aqua switch, so we're going to try the front. Look at that. We are bound. Now, not as much. I mean, the paper just still does slide out, but there is some definite, it's definitely touching. I mean, I can slide it out, but it requires a little bit of force. So, So, all right. So what do we have? What we found, despite the fact that people have said Aqua does not interfere with cherry keycaps, that does not appear to be the case. Again, when I hit it, I don't seem to hear or feel a difference, but I do see where that cherry is stopping. Now, granted, I did notice one thing just now. I don't know if this is making a difference. This is what I've actually heard as a fix, is to stick O-rings in there. These already had some O-rings in there, but let's go ahead and take it out so that doesn't interfere with the test. Again, north facing, north facing. Let's put this in here. Alright. Grab our piece of paper on the back. Do we have any binding? Nope. On the front, do we have any binding? Yep, we do. So Aqua switches do have that binding. All right, so we know novel keys do. Now this is a Gatoron Orange. This was made in collaboration with Gatoron and Aqua, I believe. So let's go ahead. North facing, cherry keycap row 3. Let's try the back. Nope, no interference. Let's try the front. That's trapped. So, and that's a newer Gatoron Aqua switch. Alright, so far we are finding that this is still an issue. Now we have, the reason I said I didn't think it was an issue is because I used cherry keycaps primarily and I've never noticed any issue, but it's probably so minor, or it also could be due to the fact that I use O-rings quite extensively. Now here we have a Fecker Holy Panda. This is actually a pretty decent clone switch, but again, we're going to do north facing. We're going to put on the keycap. Let's try the back. Nope, no interference. Let's try the front. Oh, well, look at there. Oops. So we can confirm now that it appears the Fecker, I mean, there's some contact, but it's not, as you can see, I can still pull out. So it's not like up against it. It's close, but it's definitely not touching. So why is it that this switch, the Fecker, when you look at the profiles against, like, say, an NK, oh yeah, it is slight, but it is there. There is a little bit more of a curve. I don't know if that can be seen, if that's coming through across on camera very well, but the Fecker actually has a slightly different angle. So okay, so we've got 3 switches so far. I'm going to put these out. These are the ones that have no interference. So we've got a Fecker. Now we've got an NK box cream. So again, north facing. Let's put down the key. And let's go ahead and try first in the back. No interference there. Now in the front. Ooh. See, now this NK box cream, which is manufactured by Kale, now that has definitely a steep enough angle that you can actually see how well that's done and how different it is from the NK dry series or silk series. Look at that difference. So this one, again, no interference. Now we have, this is an affiliate. They're a manufacturer of a whole bunch of different brands. I believe actually they manufacture the very popular LK67 Tom 680. So they seem like they will have interference, but let's go ahead and give it a shot. Take the keycap, north facing, put it on. We're going to try the back first. Nope, no interference there. I don't think there's any interference from the back, but I'm just giving it. I'm trying it from both angles just to make sure. From the front, that's bound. So okay, so these Aphelion, these are actually the iceberg linear switches. These are interference. Now this one, this is a very favorite of mine. It's manufactured by Texi. If I could remember what they're called. I bought them from Ringer Keys. They're a very nice linear switch. I want to say they're emeralds, but I'm not sure. All right, so north facing, we add the key, press it in. All right, let's try the back. Again, we don't expect anything in the back, but we want to just see. All right, the back is fine. Now let's try the front. I'm beating this paper up pretty good, but basically we just, oh, well, look at that. Yep, no issue. No binding. So it looks like we've got some switch manufacturers that are going the right route. All right, now here we have an Otemu blue, which I have another video. I've been turning these into jailhouse blues, and I actually like them a lot. They become silent tactiles, almost as silent as a kazoo boba gum. Believe it or not. I'll be making a type test video later on about it. I'm also still working on, I've expanded my review of the 75% boards, but that's still in the works. Okay, so let's go back. We've got the north facing, so this would be if it was north facing, we'd put the key in. Now let's try it in the back where we don't expect any interference, where there is none. All right, so now let's try this on the front. Aha! Yes, there's binding. Not quite as bad as on the Gatoron, because it still slips, but there is binding. So that's not surprising that an Otemu, now granted, this could be an older Otemu. This was pulled out of a board that I bought a while ago. So it's probably at least a year and a half old. Now we have, this is a Husky, I believe. Yeah, it's a Husky. It's called a, no, damn it. I think it's a Husky. I'm not necessarily sure what this one is, but based on the angle, I believe this one's not going to interfere. So again, let's take this north facing. I will look this up and post it below to figure out, because I know what switch this is. I just don't know off the top of my hand. So in the back, oh, actually there was a little bit of binding, but it was folded up. So behind it, okay, yeah, that was the paper folded up. Now on the front. All right, so there is binding on that one as well. So I believe these are manufactured by TTC, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I will look these up, but that's another one that goes into the pile. Now this one I know is a TTC. This is a TTC V2s, Tangerines? No, crap. Again, these I'll have to look up. I have so many switches, I keep getting them messed up, but I'm going to say from that profile that it's most likely going to have interference. So it's looking like we can actually kind of look at the profile and have an idea if we're going to have interference. So here we go. North facing, we put in the key. Let's try at the back. No interference. On the front. Oh, it's only just slight. It really, I would say no interference, because I mean, while it's there and it's holding some, it's not holding on to the paper. I can just feel it scrub against the paper, but I would say that one's a win. So maybe that other one, is this a made by Poli? I want to, who makes the Husky? All right, so this one, while minimal, it really doesn't have any interference. All right, so let's go with a stock old Gatoron. Gatoron Brown. Ones many of us started on. If we didn't start on the Clickies, we started on the Gatoron. So, okay, let's do north facing. I'm almost positive this one's going to bind up. So we try on the back. Oh, everything works just fine. Let's straighten it out. I didn't mean to tear it. All right, so let's try it now on the front. Put the paper in. plenty of binding. That is holding that piece of paper in place. That is not going anywhere. So standard Gatorons, nope, they will be interference. All right, so now here, I actually have two of these. I don't know why I pulled out two of these. I pulled out some I meant to pull and some I didn't. This is a Momoka. These are both Momoka. This is a Flamingo, and this is a Frog. They're both linear switches. Decent switches, but let's see. So this one, I may not. They have a little light diffuser there, which I kind of like. Though I wasn't very impressed with their first keyboard outing, the Zoo 65. I almost purchased it, and then I said no. So let's go ahead and try on the back. Obviously no interference there. Alright, so now let's go ahead and try on the front. Yep, and we do have interference. So I'm going to go ahead and assume real quickly, we'll take this into the did not work pile. Go ahead and make sure we're doing north facing. Alright. So we'll do the back first. Of course, no interference. And then we'll do the front. And, oh. Yep, there we go. See? We're holding on to it. So the Momokas do have interference. Alright. So far we've only got these four. We've got the Fecker. We've got the Novel Keys Box Cream. We've got the oh, Dan, you're gonna hate me for this. I can't remember. Porcelain Blues. That's what these are. Porcelain Blues. I remember now. All right, and this is a. Like I said, this is a TTC. Got this with the GMMK. I don't remember. All right, so. We're finding what works and what doesn't work. All right, here we come across a Clicky, another one by NK. This is the Midnight Jade. It was a recolored purple, I believe, or a midnight or colored jade, just with the entire jade housing. It is a Clicky, not necessarily my favorite, but let's go ahead and try. So there's the north facing. I mean, it's got a window, but come on, tinted blue. Like you're either going to be RGB or you're not. But somewhere in the middle, like I'm going to make the color. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually have these linears in one and use the blue color, so it actually looks really nice. So, wait a minute. We didn't put this in the right way, did we? Oh, yeah. No, we did. It's just hard to tell because of the damn lack of a window. All right, so we tried in the back first. No interference. Now let's try it on the front. Oh, no interference as well. So here we have another Novel Keys switch that is not showing interference with cherry keycap. So another one, another blue to add to the group. Next we come to, this is the Ajaz Peach. Ajaz is a really interesting company. I do not like their keyboards. I think their PCBs and the way they set them up are just weird. But their switches are damn well priced, and I mean, I'd go with Akko if I had a choice, but these are a nice substitute for Akko. But anyway, here we're going to go ahead and try and see what they think about interference. So we're doing the north facing. Put the keycap in. This is the back. No interference. No, this is the front. Oh. All right, see? We have interference. So unfortunately, these Ajaz switches have interference. All right, what do we have next? Next we have a, this is a Red Dragon. Now, from what I've come to understand, these are manufactured by Otemu, but have a different top because of the branding. So let's see about interference here, because I believe Red Dragon, are they OEM or cherry? I want to say they're cherry, a standard stock, the keys they come with. So we're north facing, we put on our key. Let's try the back first. No interference. Now let's try the front. Make sure we get it up in there. And of course, I was almost positive we were going to get the interference here based on the angle. That was a very tight interference. I mean, it's stopping the key from going all the way down. I don't know if you can see that, but that's definitely some interference there. Now granted, this Red Dragon red switch came with the the Red Dragon I've got back here, and I think it's 3 years old, 2 to 3 years old. So this is definitely older. I'd like to believe that the Switch companies are catching up, and I'm dealing with some older stock in here. But like I said, I'm doing this experiment not only for myself, but for everybody out there. And I want to do this on a regular basis as I get new Switches in, because I like to believe this is going to end at some point, because this whole north-facing, south-facing elitism has just got to go. Especially for the folks who like RGB, north-facing is the way to go, unless they want to, side print, and there's not many choices of those kind of keycaps. So anyway, here we have a Gatoron Milky Black. So, and I know this is from a newer batch from when I purchased it, or at least I was told it was from a newer batch. So, of course, on the back we should have no interference. And I thought I had another piece of paper around here. But so now for the front on the Milky. Well, Gatoron, you are not seeming to do anything about this, despite the fact that the ball's in your court. All right, so here's another Gatoron that does not work. Now we come to, this is a Gatoron Ink V2. So we know this is a newer one. Oh, and I did it backwards. Okay. North facing, put the key in. Means the LED windows at the top. Go ahead and straighten out our banged up pieces of paper. Probably should have made a couple of strips. All right, so we try on the back. There should be no interference. There's actually I actually had it on the Switch. Never mind. So no interference on the back. Now let's try the front. Oh, no. All right. I didn't have it centered. So, okay. Yep, it's definitely, and I can feel it hitting the Switch. I can feel it like grinding into the Switch. This one is a lot of interference. I mean, look, it tore the paper. That's how well of a grip it had on it. Wow, Gatoron. What do I say to this? I mean, that's pretty poor. This isn't the keycap's fault. This is the Switch's fault. The Switches need to be manufactured, because as we've seen, we've found a couple of Switches already that do not have this interference. All right, I can make me another piece of paper here real quick. Ugh. Alright, since we've been beating up that one pretty badly. Alright, let's go back. Alright, what do we got next? Next we have a J-Wick. Now, I think we already did this one when we saw that it does have interference. So, north facing up, put the key in. Oh. Yeah, what are we using that? Don't know what I'm thinking. Alright, so on the back, we actually have a little bit of an interference on the back. Oh no, yeah, that is the back of the Switch. And there's actually, alright, J-Wick actually has interference on the back. So I'm going to assume on the front as well. Yeah. Wow. This is a new one on me. J-Wick has interference on both the back and the front. I bought these J-Wicks because I read that they were better than Gatoron Ink V2s. They're not. I'm not very impressed with this Switch at all. I've tried them in a few keyboards and actually got a whole pack of them just sitting not being used, and I doubt I'll ever use them again. This is actually even more disappointing. So, anybody wants some J-Wick Switches? Alright, here we have a Gatoron Pink. This was a special run. I think it was a limited run. But let's see about this one. Come on. Gatoron. I know these are new. These are manufactured, I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago. Alright, so we try the back. Oh, we have a little bit of interference on the back. Look at that. On the back of the key. And we are, yeah, that is north facing. That's where the window would be. So I'm going to guess on the front. Yep, we also have it. It's not quite as bad, but it's definitely there. I mean, it's grabbing the paper. That shouldn't happen. But it really shouldn't happen on the back either. I'm kind of surprised on that. So here's a newer Gatoron that follows right in line with the Jaywick. Very, very, very disappointing. Now we have, this is actually the housing of a kangaroo, a Gatoron kangaroo, but I have a copper speed switch in there. Just don't mind me and my franking switching. So the stem is the same height, so we shouldn't have any issue as far as the stem goes. But let's go ahead. North facing, place the key in. Let's try the back first. Alright, back doesn't seem to have, oh, wait a minute. Back does have slight interference. Yeah, there's slight interference there, so I'm going to assume, yep, there you go. We are again bound up with the Gatoron kangaroo. Yet another one that doesn't make the list. Alright, this here is a purple panda. I have switched out the stem. This is a Gazoo stem. So, but they're the same height. As you can see, it matches. So we're going to go ahead and see what the, yeah, these are Texies. So let's see, because the last Texie worked out quite well. So north facing, we'll put the key down. Let's try the back. Oh, we got interference on the back. Just slight, but it's there. It's definitely there. So do we have it on the front? Yeah, we have it on the front. So these are, I know, are older than the newer Texies that I got. I bought these probably 6 or 7 months before the other ones. But yeah, that's interference for sure. All right, yet another one bites the dust. Now here we have a CIY Evo Red. CIY, many people may have not heard of this company, but you may have heard of the CIY Tester 68, which has been quite popular. Actually, I've got one sitting right here. If I can reach over to it. This is a CIY Tester 68. Actually, these are my own switches. They're called Licorice. It's just a combination of the dust-proof stem, box-style stem, with a 80 gram spring and an NK dry series housing. But this is a quite popular board that sells for $15 to $20 plus shipping from China. It is a tester. It does not have a USB-C port, but is wireless and comes with a dongle. This is a great built board, especially for the price. If you haven't heard about it, go look it up. So anyway, this is the same company that makes those. CIY seems to make a lot of stuff. So these are switches. They're extremely cheap. I think I got 100 for 15 bucks. So 15 cents a switch. I like to switch out the springs in these because I think they come with 40 or 45 gram springs. They're kind of light. So I like something a little heavier. But let's see what we've got here in as far as the interference is concerned. So we've got north facing. We put the key on. Oh, let's actually get the key on there, huh? All right. Now, I try this. Oh, that's the front. Okay, never mind. I meant to try the back first. So the back definitely has interference, but the front has interference as well. So it's not quite as bad as others, but it's definitely holding on to that piece of paper. I mean, we know how thin a piece of paper is, so if it's holding on to a piece of paper, it's no bueno. All right, so another one bites the dust. All right, what do we have here? This is a kale. A kale spring. So this is old style kale, before the box ones, but it has the dust style proof. I'm even trying to remember when I got black kales. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stick the key north facing. We stick the key on. Let's check the back of the key for interference. Wow, look at that. That's the back of the key. How about the front of the key? Yeah, it's not going all the way down. We definitely know. Wow, you can see that gap that's there. This is... So another switch. Bye-bye. All right, what do we got here? Here we've got really oily, but this is a I could actually read it. Don't put a gator on. I believe this is a Jixan. Yeah, this is a Jixan. Jixan. Jixan? I don't know how to pronounce that. So let's try these. We got the north facing. We put the key on. Let's try the back of the key first. Oh, yeah, we got binding there. How about the front? Absolutely. So, Jixan, you too. Now, last but not least, one of my favorite switches in the world, Gazoo has really hit it out of the park when he came up with this. But after hearing his story and how he got started in it, I mean, I'm not surprised. He's quite an interesting fellow, and I have mad respect for him. But these are manufactured by Otemu. Now, a lot of people are like, no way, those are the best switches. How could they be manufactured by Otemu? But they are. Otemu does make cheap switches, but they also make good switches. So I just want folks to keep that in mind. There are different. It's just like a Ford. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here trying to say, trying to advertise Ford, but Ford has, more expensive cars, and then they have like the Ford Fiesta. Granted, I think they stopped making vehicles this year. But basically, a manufacturer can make cheaper versions and can make more expensive versions. Just because they make cheap versions doesn't mean everything they make is cheap. All right, so we're going to go ahead and try the Gazoo Boba Pink in the back first, and we have very slight. I mean, it's just slight. It's not holding on to it, but it wants to. So it's a little drag. So, but I'm afraid. Yep. It's minimal, because I mean it still slides out, but yeah, I'd say it's almost not there, because I mean I can slide the piece of paper out, but there's still a gap. So because I'm almost positive that if I were to put, and just for shits and giggles, let me put this O-ring back on here. I think that O-ring would probably, again, north facing. I'll make sure that we're always going the right way since we're not on a keyboard. Now, I like the O-ring because it evens out the height for all the keys, plus it adds a little bit of silence. So let's go ahead and try the back this time. No binding whatsoever. And in the front, yeah, I still got a little bit of binding. So while the O-ring helps, it's not going to completely get rid of the binding. Man, that sucks. Alright, well, so we tried, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21, 26 different switches we've tried. And out of 26 different switches, we have found 5 that did not bind. The Fecker Holy Panda, the Kale Box Cream. Whoa. Oh well. That one's gone. The Midnight Jade. The NK Midnight Jade. No, Kale Midnight Jade? No, this is Kale. Never mind. I know. I'm confused here. The Porcelain Blues. If you have not tried these out, go to ringerkeys.com and buy yourself a pack. I'm almost positive, if you like linears, that is, I'm almost positive that if you buy these, you will not be disappointed. These are a great linear switch. I don't know. This is a board I have them on. Not that this is a sound test, but so it's a fairly quiet switch. Now those do have O-rings there, but I don't think that's doing all of it. And then we have the TTC. I want to say they're Goldens. The TTC Golden Reds, I think that's what these are called. So out of these, including the box cream. So we have 5 switches out of 26 switches, and I do have a whole other slew, but I tried to get a good mix. The 5 switches that do not have that north LED interference. So that means I'm sure there's more out there, but this is the thing with switch makers. They obviously can make the difference to adjust the spring and the tooling for their machining to have a more of a high angle so that there is no interference. So obviously they are catching on, and we're probably seeing stock issues, right now, in the fact that we have a lot of switches out there that are probably, have been sitting in warehouses for some time. But as new switches come out, I am going to continue to, at least, even if it's only, a sample pack or a couple of them. Actually, real quick. Speaking of sample packs, I recently got these directly from Gatoron. These are the pink inks. So I know these are like freshly manufactured. They're fairly new. I mean, I think they just were released in January of this year. All right, so north facing. Put them down. Ho! Yep. I think we're gonna actually, yep, north facing. Now, obviously, the stem sticks out just a little bit. Is that going to be what makes the difference? Because I'm already looking at it, and I think there's not going to be any interference. But let's just check. We'll go at the back of the key first. No interference. That's a little tug, a little grab, but not much. All right, how about the front? Wow. All right, so yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of drag, but it really, I think it's because of the height of it. This is basically almost no interference. So this is the pink ink V2. So, and these are supposed to be the Gatoron ink V2s. So the other ones are ones I bought as Gatoron ink V2s, but was not impressed. This one definitely looks different than where it is. Oh, hell yeah. No, these are different. So this is what Gatoron sent me as an ink V2. This is what I was sold as an ink V2, but I don't believe that it is. And their profiles are almost exactly the same, but this is the one that I just got from Gatoron. So let's go ahead and do north facing, stick the key in, stick the key on. Let's try the back of the key first. Yep. Just that slight little bit of, it's really not interference. I just think it's just enough space because I can pull it without any force. But now the front of the key. Yeah, it's kind of like the pink. There's just a, yeah, it's not, yeah, there's not really any interference to speak of unless I see. Now if I press on the front of the key, it has some, but it's not like holding on to it. I could still pull it out. So I don't know if I would count that as interference, because it really, there's just plenty of space there and it's not touching. It's hard to see, but the top of the casing is not touching the inside of the key. So what it looks like is that switch manufacturers are moving away from making the angle that does interfere with cherry keycaps and north-facing LED boards. So it has nothing to do with the LEDs. It's the position that you're putting the switch in. So there's two different types of interference. There's interference with the LEDs sticking above the board and not being able to be used with these type of non-LED window type switches. But that's a different thing. Most LEDs, not all, but most are mounted from below. That's why they'll be flush with the PCB. If they're not, these are most likely going to cause issues, and it's not like they're going to let much, if any, light go through, since it's only 4 little tiny holes. I mean, this is silly because I have yet to see anyone actually stick an LED in here and wire all 4 of these, or actually solder them in. I'm sure there's people that have done it, but I've never seen it done on a video or anywhere. So I really don't know why these have become popular. So, all right, so that being said, we've gotten these. So we added 2 more, 28 that we tested. Out of 28, we found a total of 7 that did not interfere. So I'm working with some of the other subscribers on Budget Keybs, a subreddit, and we're going to work together on bringing together a wiki that has as much information as possible regarding things like this. So I'm going to start a list of switches that do not have interference, and on a regular basis I'll come back and I'll go through switches that I've already gone through and go through new switches. So maybe like if we get a refresh of one switch or another, we'll give it a shot and see what's going on. But until then, if any of you guys have switches that you know have interference or don't have interference, please hit me up, comment below, let me know, or come by Budget Keybs on Reddit and share your experience. The more information that we can have, the better we can save the community time and money when they're trying to build a keyboard. Because, I mean, obviously this is an issue. It's not one that has affected me. Most of my boards are north-facing. I have very few south-facing boards. I'm a budget guy. I don't like spending more than $150 on any keyboard. So, not that I won't, but I just don't prefer it, unless, you know, it's got something really special. But anyway, I want to make sure that I can do as much as possible to help inform the community of things like this. So again, I hope that you found this useful. I hope that this was informative. And like I said, I'm going to continue to do this so that we can get to the bottom of this and see, because I think we will shortly see the day where there will be no interference. Once all the switch manufacturers catch up and start building them like this, we're not going to have to be dealing with this. Now granted, I have literally just recently switched from cherry profiles, which were primarily, the majority of my keycap sets are cherry profiles, and now I'm buying almost exclusively MDA, XDA, SA, ASA profiles. I'm loving the sound of those. Like I have, these are the MT3, and my goodness, I love how they sound. So there is no issue with those. The issue with interference is only with the cherry profile caps, which most GMMKs are, I believe. This is a clone of a GMMK set, I believe Hamon, ham in Spanish. But basically, that interference, you know, it's going to change your acoustic profile, especially for that row, because they're not, the switch isn't able to do its full actuation motion. So that is going to affect sound, and it may actually affect typing as well, as many have reported. So, but I think this is an issue that we will soon be able to put past us. So, again, hopefully this was helpful to everybody out there. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please feel free to post in the comments or go to Budget Keybs over on Reddit, and we'll do our best, either myself or one of our other members. We are always willing to help the newcomer, or anybody really, to answer any questions that we can. Once again, have a wonderful day out there in keyboard land. Keep calm and keyboard on.